Recording in progress. Right, now we can carry on our conversation.
Hi.
So, we're talking today about the inner work and self healing and all that jazz.
The big topic.
Because in the awakening community, everyone always says, do the inner work, inner child, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I know when I first started on this journey, it's like, what does that even mean? What even is that? Because I think you're the same. I don't know. I might be speaking for you. I don't know. I might not be speaking for you. But when we met, I'm thinking I've got everything sorted in my life. I've got the house that I've always wanted, the kids, the happy life. I'm happy enough in work. You just think, what if I'm not poorly. I don't have any illnesses or ailments or anything. What is it to heal? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Well, I think actually we both, interestingly, have had very different experiences, right? My journey's, I think we've mentioned this before, my journey's been more slow and steady, whereas yours has been more of like a really intense roller coaster. So
Yeah.
my healing journey started off more with the mindset stuff. So it started off more with the conscious, right? When we can, because that's the thing. So we talk about healing, healing, healing. And sometimes when you're new to this, you're like, what are they even talking about? Like, what does that mean? Right. So today we're going to try and cover different aspects in a concise way, but we're going to try and cover some different aspects so that we can kind of shed light on this to support other people. It's not scary, I mean, it can be a bit scary sometimes, but like it's not something to be scared of. And if you can find your own path, and if you can find your own way that feels right for you in this moment, that might change next week, that might change next year, but just go with it and see where it leads you, basically, right? So mine started off with the very much more the conscious stuff. So it was very much more me consciously looking at myself and saying, what do I want out of life? And me consciously planting new seeds with mindset work, like affirmations, meditations, visualizations, right? So it was a bit more conscious. It was a bit more, whereas what we're going to talk about a bit more in a bit more depth is the less conscious stuff, right? Do you
Yeah.
think?
So similar, I guess my journey, my healing journey, it probably started when I started being a VA coach. When my coach said to me, "Laura, you can be a coach," and I was like, "Holy shit, me be a coach? I can't coach anyone," because my confidence was like really low. Like you never knew me then, but I
No.
was a completely different person. And when she had that belief in me, which helped me then to grow that belief in myself. And that took me back, to certain memories and things people had said to me when I was a kid, and that had kept me in that place. So yeah, and then I guess the conscious work happened, and that led us both to do the belief coding. And
Mm-hmm.
then things got interesting. So I started belief coding because I noticed money patterns in my life. That was an area of my life that just never seemed to be consistent. I'd attract a decent amount of money and then it'd just go. So I knew there was issues in my subconscious somewhere that was pushing that away. Sorry, I feel like I've taken some drugs or something today. I'm just real so excited.
Buzzing.
If I'm not making any sense, I'm really sorry.
No, you're making so much sense. You're making so
Um,
much sense.
yeah, so that was why what kind of pushed me to start wanting to go deeper into some stuff, because that was just like a little part of my life what just wasn't quite ticking the box, because yeah, it was just that constant.
I think it's that that thing, isn't it? So we get drawn. So on our healing journey, I think pretty much everyone will say you get drawn in one way or another. And what we have to do is we have to be brave enough to listen to those instincts, to listen to those nudges and follow that. I mean, we would have never have met if we hadn't have followed those nudges to go and try and train to be belief coding facilitators, right? So for you, it was the money stuff. For me, it was knowing that I've known for so long that I'm here for more, that I'm here to support other people to find their passion, find their purpose in life, find more meaning in their life, right? I just didn't have any direction. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know how that could transform into me being able to support other people. I knew I have it in me, but belief coding allowed me to reprogram my beliefs so that I could then step into that power. So that's super interesting. Maybe we should, yeah, maybe we can talk about like reprogramming beliefs on your healing journey, right? Because
Yeah.
that's
So I guess to try and explain, we've all us as a being as we are at the moment, we've got our bodies that we see, but there's also this whole energetic element of us. And people refer to the inner child. So this, I don't know, is it your soul, your heart, that really deep part of you, the absolute essence of you that literally remembers everything from not only this lifetime, but like loads of other lifetimes as well. It's literally encoded into us. It's crazy. But every experience, and just in this lifetime, we'll just talk about this lifetime, but every experience that we've had, everything that we've heard, everything that's happened around us, happened to us, it kind of gets stuck in there. And if there's been something that's traumatic, and when I say traumatic, it doesn't even have to be traumatic, it can just be a little bit discomforting at the time. It can be your teacher saying you should have got an A instead of a B. It could have been your dad saying you could have been done better next time. Just something as little as that gets stuck into your programming that you don't even know, and then it affects the way you are. So sometimes, this can show up in your everyday life. If you get triggered and you're angry, if you've got frustration, if you've got like patterns, like I said, like from the example I gave, or low confidence, or you cannot see what your vision is, what your purpose is, or even physical symptoms. Your body will show a physical symptom if there's energetic problems in there as well. So when you've got these symptoms, things in your life that are kind of blocking you from being who you deep down know you truly are, or just repeating patterns, then somewhere in your subconscious there will be something energetically that could do with being recognized, understood, released, and healed.
exactly.
Have I understand? I did do quite
Exactly.
well there.
Well, no, so what I wanted to share connected with this. So yeah. So your inner child, right? You can, depending on however you want to see it, whatever this is the part, this is what we really want to transmit, right? The empowering part of this is Laura sees the inner child as that deep part, the deepest part of you. I see it more as all the other versions of myself from when I was born until now. So I have like 100 or 300 inner child, inner children, right? And you have to go with what feels good for you. That feels good for me because it means I can go back to her. And I had a really amazing inner child healing session at the weekend, actually, with my coach. And I went back to a version of myself that literally, I didn't even know she needed me until I recently saw a photo of her, and it really generated a lot of emotion in me. It really made me emotional. I thought, wow, she really needs my attention, right? She was 13, I think, not even that young, but 13. But that connection that I had with her, that to go back and connect with that version of yourself and tell them that it's okay now, and also giving them the information that they didn't have at the time, right? They were children, so they didn't know that what their parents said to them or what their teacher said to them wasn't true. They thought it was true. They took it as truth. And not only that, well-meaning parents say so many things to us, well-meaning teachers, right? And as children, uh, we translate that information into a belief that's not true. So it's not even their fault. It's it's our responsibility. But we're children, so we don't know any better because we don't have the filters. We don't have the critical thinking skills that we have now, right? So yeah, and I cannot express how important this work is, this inner child work. So I I cry a lot. Like I'm a crier, right? When I go back to my inner child, we cry. I don't know about you, Laura. I
Oh
don't know whether
yeah.
you have what happens with you. Can you share some like a significant inner healing session
Oh
childhood
yeah.
that you had?
So,
Yeah.
when I first started, I think this was even before belief coding. So I was literally just at the start of starting to try and go deeper. And I did a breathwork session. So have I told you, Insight Timer, it's like a free app. It's amazing. There's a breathwork session on there. A lady called Brie, and I've forgotten what her second name is. It's amazing. And it's only 17 minutes long. And oh my gosh, I did this breathwork session. It was my first experience, and I don't want to put anybody off, but it was intense. For me, it was intense, but I was breathing really deeply. And it was my intention for it to be intense because I wanted it. It was like emotional healing and releasing. And I thought, I want to go deep. So I breathed deep into it. And the release that I got was insane. It was almost, it was like, I can just describe it and compare it to The Exorcist. Do you know that film where
Oh
that
my
girl,
God.
honestly, I was like screaming into, I was just, and I'm not an angry person, but then quite rightly, because I'm not an angry person and I don't show anger, all of that, all of the times of what little Laura in me has needed to express anger, it's just gone straight in, hasn't it? It's just been stuck there. But it was incredible. And obviously, when you're on this journey, your guide's looking after you, they're all around me, and they'd already gifted me some amazing people in my life, so I was straight on the voice note like, holy hell, what's just happened? And like, it's okay, this is fine, it's fine, just go with it. And I was just buzzing, and I felt so light after it. It felt amazing. And even through it, it wasn't it, people think that healing, it's scary and it's going to feel uncomfortable. I was literally laughing at myself going through this experience at the time. It was hilarious. And all I could think was, I hope my next door neighbour can't hear me. Because it was mental.
Right.
But it was incredible. But now, because I think I've got to that point, I literally just put my hand on my heart and just say, what do you need to release? And then just tears come. And I don't even know where they're from, what year, what experience. But for me, the tears are huge. Sometimes I get an anger or a screaming, and I just have to just take myself off in the car somewhere, and I'll just be, just letting that out, and I don't know where it's from. And I know this sounds a bit freaky, doesn't it, to anybody listening? But let's be real, the healing journey, it's incredible. Sometimes it's, yeah, no, I think it is just incredible
Well, the
because
thing is, we've been taught the reason why we get scared before you have to be, you have to be quite courageous. You have to be at a point where you really, either you really, really need something, you really want something to change and you're done. And you literally make a decision, I am done with what I've been doing up until now,
yeah.
right? Or if that's not the case, then you have to be pretty brave to want to step into this, unless you're feeling really uncomfortable and you want something to change. But I think society, we live in a society in general that teaches us we have bad and good emotions, right? And we have certain emotions that we're allowed to show in certain situations and some emotions that we're not allowed to show in other situations. So we've learned from a very young age that it's not appropriate to do what you've just described. But actually, we are incredible beings and we are here to experience a whole spectrum of emotions. And yes, we do have lower vibration emotions and higher vibration emotions. Yes, we do, but none are good or bad. We are supposed to be here to experience all of them. But when we release, like what you've just described, we make space for more of the high vibe stuff, right? That's the key. We make space for the
100%. And every single time I have had one of these experiences, within a few days, I have noticed actual changes in my reality as well. I feel lighter, I feel buzzing, and I know that I've released something that's been really deep down. And yeah, it's just you can just see it and you can notice the difference in yourself, You just walk a bit taller and you just
Totally. So I was just also going to mention, so I am a really big fan of movement for releasing, for healing. So I don't know whether anyone knows about like ecstatic dance, bio dance, 5 rhythms. All of these are, it's basically movement meditation, but it gives your body an opportunity to move in a way that it needs to move. So it's not, you don't need to know how to dance. All you need is just to listen to the music and allow your body to be led by your body. Your body is intuitive. Your body knows everything. Your body knows what it needs. But because we're so rigid and we're taught, you know, I also dance salsa and bachata. So I also have that very rigid way of thinking that I have to do things in a certain way. So ecstatic dance for me gives me my body the opportunity to just go wild. And like you described, sometimes we scream, sometimes we, you know, sometimes anger really comes up. And that's probably the only time in my life where I really can actually express anger, you know, because it's one of those emotions where it's like, you know,
Yeah.
be careful with that one, put a cap on that one, right? But it has to come out sometime. It has to.
And
Some
if it
people,
doesn't, sorry, I was going to say, if it doesn't, you know, you get later on in life and then start just manifesting like back pain or hip pain or joint pain. And we put it down to old age, but it's not. It's your body trying to communicate something to you. And that's really fascinating as well, isn't it?
stagnant. It's stagnant. Imagine a river, right? And then you get where I live in Seville, we have it's not stagnant, but it's not a moving river, right? So you get to the end of the river and you see everything's getting a bit stagnant. It's literally what happens with our emotions. If we don't allow them the space to release, the space in the moment to process them, they get stagnant. And then what happens? Like you say, pain, or some, you know, aches. And we need to give our body the opportunity to express, to release, to let go. And it might take one session, or it might take one healing session, or it might be, probably will be, you know, more than one.
Lifetime.
Yeah, exactly.
If you think we've got
I don't
all
want
of
to
our
say that.
lives, like everything that we've experienced so far today, every single time that something's happened and you've been like, I'm not quite comfortable with that, or something, you know, just something that's just made you feel a bit crappy or uncomfortable or whatever that is. And we put a cap on it and it's like, push it down, push it down, push it down. All of that just needs to come up and it'll come up in different times. You know, every single time is almost like you think, okay, yeah, I've healed that. But then you get to the next level and then there's another layer. It's just like an onion. I just find it dead interesting. I mean, I had a memory of when I was 25. The girls were tiny. They were both babies. I was like, why is this coming up? I didn't feel at the time there was anything to heal. And then when I went into the memory, it just clicked into place. It's like, whoa, that's so interesting how it all links. So
Because your subconscious knows, right? So your subconscious knows what you are ready to heal. I think that's a really key thing because
yeah,
people think, how do you know? Like, where, how do you know that's the right memory? But it's like, this is when it's really important to trust because your subconscious knows what's the right layer for you, you know? And sometimes we get frustrated because we see other people doing like really deep stuff. Like that's happened to me quite a lot. But then I come back and I trust and I know I'm in the right moment for my personal healing journey, right? So it's trust, it's surrender as well. It's surrendering and remembering you're always supported by the universe. You know, it's it the and people sometimes that triggers people because it's like, well, I didn't feel like I'm ready for this, but you're watching this. So everything that you've gone through up until now,
yeah,
you've overcome, you know, you've overcome, you've enjoyed, you've had the adventure, whatever it is, right? We don't want to just focus on the negative. But all of that has, you know, has made you stronger. It's made you who you are right now, which is, yeah, a beautiful way to look at it, right?
yeah. Because we are all exactly where we need to be at exactly the right time. And if we go any, if we go deeper to this as well, let's go deep. We've got the soul contracts that we created before we even came into this life. So when we're saying about if you don't feel like you're ready to do this, do you know what? You made the plan for you before you even came into the life. And your guides, the universe, they're here just to support you through it, to guide you. So if this email, if this video's landed on your, you know, and you're watching it thinking, holy fuck, I don't want to be, endure anything like that. It's here for a reason. You're watching it for a reason. It's because you've been led to it, because the grand plan for you in your life that you've created, you're on that path, and the universe is trying to communicate to you, these are the things that you need to do. So
Yeah. Is there anything else you would say to people? Because I think for me as well, that was quite a hard. I mean, I lost my father when I was a baby. So when I was younger, I really went through this process of like, this is unfair. This is not fair. You know, if there was a God, if there was a universe, and we go through this process of anger, right? Because we're like, but actually, when you come back and you consider your soul contract, or however you want to see it, yes, um, you you realize, you know, and you look back and you realize I wouldn't be who I was. I wouldn't be who I am right now if I hadn't been
exactly.
through all of that stuff as a child, you know? So is there anything you would say to people if they are feeling like they feel like that's truth, but they're still doubting? They feel like, how can that possibly be? You know, it doesn't feel fair. Is there something, you
I
know?
don't know, because then you're getting into the realms of past lives and karmic lessons. And
Right.
is that too deep to go into?
Maybe
I don't know.
save that for another episode.
But this is the thing. This is the thing. If you are feeling like that, and standing in that place of victim, why are things happening to me? This is exactly where you need to start to change things up. Because if you are in that place and you're like, this has happened, and yes, there's all sorts of things happen, but I believe, this is my truth, that we all have numerous infinite amounts of lifetimes to learn all of these lessons, to be the person who's been through this, been through that, been through the other, so that we can then come into this life with all of those lessons behind us, so we can then become the people and do the jobs that we're here to do, which, like you say, you're here for a purpose, and you don't know what that is, but because we've done all of this learning in the past, this is why we're here to do that now. And I've forgotten what I'm about to say. Yes, so if you are in that position of like, why has all this happened to me, then what I would say is the first thing you probably need to do is try and change your mindset. Instead of looking at things, why me, why is this happening to me, why is these things happening for me, what am I learning, how am I expanding, where's the lesson, where's the growth? Yeah, because everything
Yeah.
is happening for us in this life. Even when something really, really, really crap happens, it's getting to that point where you can even look at those really, really bad things and think, stop, I'm not going to react. There's a reason for this. And even though I don't know what that reason is yet, I trust in myself. I trust in my guides. I trust in my universe. I trust in that higher energy to know that it's happening for me for some reason or other. And then as time goes on, it's like the saying, isn't it? Every cloud has a silver lining. Everyone relates to that because they know, even at the time, it seems horrible. But down the line, you look back and you're like, okay, I get that now.
Yeah.
And
And
just on the
also,
subject of crossed over loved ones as well, sorry, just
yeah.
to add, because this is something that's just come up recently with my husband. Like literally two people in his work have just died like suddenly, um, really young as well.
Whoa.
But I'm doing the Beyond the Veil training. This is something that, again, Serena's really passionate about, is to be able to reconnect with crossed over loved ones, so you can go and have that conversation with them and ask them and say the things that you wanted to say. And I'm just seeing your face like up there. But
Right.
there's the way, what I'm saying is, there are ways and means for, if you have lost people in your life, if there are, things like that, there are things out there that you can do to connect with, so that you can have those conversations with people who might not be in the physical anymore. They've just crossed over to the non-physical. It's not like they're not here. They're still here, probably here and closer to you than what you can ever freaking imagine.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think we need to put that on our list for another session, because that is a whole nother super interesting topic.
Oh yeah.
And I think people, if people, the people who are watching this, when we were talking about why is this happening to me? If you're seeking out this kind of material, if you're seeking out this kind of conversation, it's because you're supposed to be here, and it's because it's part of your path, right? So just try to trust in that. Yeah, trust in the fact that even if you don't believe in in some of what we've been talking about. Trust that you've been guided, whether it's by your intuition, whether it's by your soul, whether it's by your guides, God, whatever. It doesn't matter. You've been guided to be here for some reason, right? So yeah.
I love it. I love how Hannah, I love how you just take what I say and bring it back down to a relatable level.
Yeah, but it's
Let's talk
interesting
about,
because and but that also shows our difference in journeys, right?
yeah, yeah,
Because that's why it's really important to express, like, it doesn't, just because someone else seems to be further ahead on their healing journey doesn't mean necessarily that it's a bad thing or a negative thing. It just means you're in exactly the right place, right?
exactly.
And you will be hearing, everyone takes away what they need from each conversation for what they need to hear, right? Not what they want to hear. It's like what you need to in that moment. Everyone watching or listening will hear something
Yeah,
different from you and from me. So
yeah, 100%. So let's talk about different types of healing,
okay.
because this isn't just like a one trick pony. You've got to do it this way. There's so many different types.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned dance. I literally can just put music on and just go stupid, like dance, like, you know, when you see a 3-year-old being crazy, do it. You're releasing energy. Yeah. Yeah. Breath work is amazing.
Breath work. So yeah, so dance. So should we let's like the I guess the more, yeah, dance, breath work.
Reiki is a popular one and widely accepted now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Reiki is, I have a really good friend who does amazing Reiki. Preeti, her name is. And he like healing like physical pain, but also bringing the groundedness back down. Like Reiki really helps me with that. I don't know
Yeah.
about you. What
Let's talk about grounding as well, just with you mentioning grounding.
every
Let's
single day,
start with that. Feet on the ground, shoes.
every single day. Yeah, every single day. That is literally for me a non-negotiable. If I have one day when I don't at least touch a tree or connect with the ground, um I can really feel it in my body. I don't have much energy, or my thoughts, I'm very much here, right? So, and if this is the first time that you've heard about grounding, you might be like, what? But so we are supposed to be connected with the earth, right? We're not here supposed to be walking around with rubber soles, right? So what they found, and I definitely can't remember the studies, but I could probably find it and put it underneath the video, was that since the creation of rubber soles, there's been a slow increase in the amount of inflammation in people's bodies, disease, anxiety, and it makes complete sense because when you're connected to the earth helps neutralize the electrons in our body, right? So you imagine when we've got anxiety and we're all up here and we're da 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 da. If you connect with the earth, you're effectively allowing that energy to leave and be neutralized. And it's been proven over and over again to help with inflammation in the body. People have literally like healed arthritis through sleeping. So there's also a little instrument you can use to put at the bottom of your bed if you're really serious about it, like a piece of metal at the bottom of your bed so that your feet touch it, and then you put it out your window and ground it. So you're sleeping 8 hours connected to the earth. I mean, that's like really, really powerful. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And what else have we got? What else do you do?
We mentioned the belief coding. If people want to Google that and come
Yeah.
across that, there's loads of different types of energy healing. So Dawn has been downloaded her gift, angelic Reiki healing. I think it's just angelic healing now. She
Yeah.
literally connects with angels and sends healing remotely. So you don't even have to do anything. You just lay there and you feel all this amazing stuff happening in your body, and she'll just send you a message of everything that's come through for you. It's incredible. What are the releases?
Well, we talked about inner child. I mean, the inner child stuff, that's a big one, right? So
Mm,
literally that's kind of a standalone, I would say,
yeah.
way of healing, connecting. So that's something to be really, really aware of, because that's the dance and the grounding and the what did we say, breath work, is things that you can literally go and do anytime. You can literally go and dance in your lounge, you know, and just release. Just Google or on YouTube movement meditation or whatever it you want. But the inner child work, often you can do that alone, but it's often you need someone, maybe a coach or a therapist, to help you see, because it's very hard sometimes. Like I couldn't see that my 14-year-old self, 13-year-old self really needed me, but my coach did. She
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah.
Because when you're outside and you've got someone who's intuitive working with you, right? So we say, right, you can do all of this stuff on your own, but if you want to get those results, working with a coach is amazing, because they can see potentially where and guide you where you need to go, that your subconscious maybe is protecting you from,
But I
right?
would say work with an intuitive coach, because
Mm.
there's so many out there who are still in the head. You know, I've got a thing with NLP.
Mm.
You know, from I can't get my words out. There's so much. I think you want to work with somebody who's heart centered, who's always bringing you back to yourself. Um,
Mm.
yeah, and I think that's a big thing to be aware of. So if you're looking for a way to heal, or you're looking to work with somebody, ask your guides, just say out loud, please, can you guide me to the best person for me? And then just be aware. You know, you might pick your phone up, what's the first thing that you see? You might see a sign for something. Just be aware and just be curious at what's going on around you, because the universe will give you signs who's best to work for you, which modality will be best to work with as well.
Yeah, I love that. That literally just reminded me of something. I absolutely love how you described that. I literally just got reminded of when I was quite early on in my healing journey, and I went for a massage with she's a craniosacral therapist, but she also is extremely intuitive, and she basically touched my body, and she knew about grief that I was carrying in my body straight away. And at the end of the session, she mentioned another modality, which is called family systems, which we won't talk about right now. But just to give you another idea, my body, when she said those two words, family systems, my body literally reacted. And
Yeah.
I knew I have to go down that path, because my body was telling me, Hannah, you connected with this woman for this reason, right? So just be aware, like Laura said, like, what do you see? How do you feel when you see that particular person speak? Do you feel drawn to them, you know, or do you feel resistant? Like, trust your own intuition as
Yeah.
well, right?
So there's another one, rapid transformational therapy, I think. I think
Yeah.
it's that Dolores Cannon's what she created.
Oh, I don't know.
I can't remember,
I don't know
but
who was the creator of rapid
uh,
transformational therapy.
that just popped into my head. But what I also wanted to say was, oh my God. Oh yeah, yeah. Not to get in your own head about asking too many questions what this modality is, because there's a lot of people in the intuitive world now who are getting downloaded modalities. Downloaded, I mean gifted from their guides to bring this to the world, just like Dawn's, just like Serena's Beyond the Veil. So although it's not mainstream, although it's not, you know, listed under whatever accreditation processes they are, you know, they are literally divinely led and divinely guided and brought to humanity to help us to heal at this time. So even though your human head might be like, well, where's all the case studies? Where's all the research? How come this has just been coming to the world, into existence in, you know, now? Just please just drop into your heart. If it's been brought into your awareness, whatever it is, it's there for a reason. So get out of your head thinking that you need a million case studies. You want to go on the reviews on Google and everything else. Connect with the person, get a feel for their energy. If it feels right, it's right for you.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
Because
We're in this.
3D.
Say that again, sorry.
We're moving out of the 3D, the old way of like, yeah.
That's it. So that's what I was going to say. So collectively, I'll do the grounding part again. Collectively, this is how I understand it. Collectively, we are in this process. So like, even if it's kind of daunting, right? It's like, what on earth, download? we're all part of the process, right? Just know that we're all part of the process. Whether we're getting downloads and we're feeling into our spirit guides and we're completely in a surrender and trust state, or whether we're still a little bit, a little bit skeptical on some levels, but really deep down we know that we're here for something bigger, right? We're all part of that collective process, and we're all in the right moment of where we exactly need to be.
Exactly.
So there's no right and wrong. There's no right and wrong. Yeah.
100%. And when I first started this journey, thanks, Hannah. When I first started this journey, I literally spent a year saying to the universe, what's my purpose? Why am I here? I can't do anything. I'm not good for anything. Like, and I just felt like everybody was rushing ahead of me. And I was just, being dragged along and with no real clear vision or clarity or anything. But all that had to happen for a reason, because that had to take me through my journey of releasing and growing and learning and expanding. And now I'm just a million
and supporting other people now, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm here to do. But yeah.
Because but if other people, because when we've gone through those particular experiences, right, then we can support other people. We can hold the space for the other people who are also going through that, right? I think that's a big part of it as well. So yeah,
if everybody is just in just the right, I can't even say it. I literally have lost my words, Hannah. Everybody is just where they need to be.
I think Laura needs to explain that she's been tricked into the universe to do a launch. And so we're both very excited about it.
I think it's more terrified than excited, to be fair. I don't know what it is. I just feel like my energy is just off the charts today.
Yeah.
I think I think it's since speaking to you. It's just gone. That's interesting.
Interesting, right? And I think also the other thing that's really important to mention is that it would have been very easy for Laura to be like, the old self, for me personally, the old self would have been like, oh, I need to cancel because I've got too much on, or I'm not feeling particularly grounded, or, oh, I need to but now we just show up and we're just authentic. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do this, is because we wanted to show, like, being authentic, being you is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Because you're giving other people permission to be authentic, and that's super important part of the healing journey. Learning that the more authentic you are, the more people are going to love you. And that's a really, really tough, that's a belief that I have been working on for the last year, probably, because I had the opposite belief.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway, should we leave it there?
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. Well,
translating my garble today, Hannah.
No, not at all. But there's going to be people loving your way of expressing and connecting with my way of expressing. So that's what we want.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you liked any of this, if you could do the like, share, and subscribe thing, that would be amazing. Yes. And until next time, goodbye.
Ciao.